Hi, welcome to the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families. This is Lyra, and I'm welcoming you, Dale, to tonight's meeting. I wanted to share with you what I've been working on for the website for the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families. So over here on the left, you see the posted Parent Advocate Network meetings blogs. These are blog posts, and they will take you to a Google blog spot that I host. And then we have here in the middle the video that is the introduction to what the mission for the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families is. And then there's also there on the bottom bar other meetings that have been posted for public viewing. And then as you go further down the site, we want to make sure that you know that we are here for you. You are a part of our family, and welcome to our family. And we have two different sections. We have the affiliate program, which is for those of you who are an established organization or advocate and would like to be included on our list. You can visit the page, you click on affiliate, and it'll take you to our affiliate page. We have contact information for anybody who wants to become a live online advocate through our service right now. We have it offline because we are in the process of training people and bringing parent advocates in who are up to date and knowing what's going on and what parents need to do as far as the process through the juvenile court system and family law. We are not lawyers. We are parents and family, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. We all are here on this planet together, and we all are going through some really difficult times, a lot of us. And for those of you who have gotten some clarity and maybe have persevered in fighting for your rights as a parent, your fundamental rights under the Constitution of the United States of America, we would like you to come aboard and help parents who are in the midst of loss and uncertainty and looking for ways to solve their issues where their children have been wrongfully removed by family courts, juvenile courts, and CPS, DCSF. And so that's what we do here. We help other parents. There are a lot of different advocacy groups. So like I'm gonna click on the affiliates page. Hopefully it'll take you there. We have a whole list of affiliates that are a part of the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families. They're vetted. We know that they're out there doing the right things, helping parents to resolve legal issues in family court and in juvenile court in regards to custody of their children and their fundamental rights as parents. And we also have a lot of information throughout this site. Constantly want to update and bring more information to the public. I have been working to organize it in a manner where people can find what's going on for their specific situation. And if it's a human rights violation, if it's a violation of your disability based on your disability or anything, where I'm working really hard, and I'd love for others to please join, and let's get this organized and working for families everywhere. Let's bring family values back. Family values. We stand united for family, community, life, liberty, honor, integrity, truth, justice, and freedom for all. Support family values. And so without further ado, I would like to say good evening, Dale. Welcome to the show, and I am very glad that you are here. I hope we get some more people joining in shortly. Go for
Well,
it.
thank you, Lara. Uh, it's it's been a bit of a journey to get here. So, as you know, uh, I'm late to the party. There's been a tremendous amount of work done, and my position is one of really listening.
Well, you're
Uh,
not too late to the party. This is more about um, bringing everybody into the fold, including everybody, not having the exclusion factors that we are, a lot of us, facing today with the discrimination against parents with disabilities, parents without the means that would provide for caring for children. But and so then this is one of the ways that our government is targeting parents, is if you don't have an adequate income and your housing is below safety regulations, you're being targeted, and they're going to come and inspect and invade your privacy, and you have to stand up for your rights. And more and more people are doing that, but there are hundreds of thousands of people across this country, probably millions, that do not know their rights. They have not been educated in their constitutional rights to freedom of speech, to a whole bunch of different rights. Hold on, let me get the page up. But it's horrible how bad it's gotten, because the state doesn't teach this. The public education system does not teach any of the Constitution anymore, anything about the Constitution. It's all about the tests. It's all about statistics, so that they can get their money as public schools. They can get their money to pay teachers to not really teach, to be able to provide children with basically a daycare center now, is what it is, of all children of all ages, daycare center and testing grounds. So it's horrible. And so it's just ghastly.
yeah,
And
you
go ahead.
know, the one of the last conversations that we had was that you just were exhausted from being in court all day,
Yes.
fighting the powers that be.
Yes.
And you know, I come from I'm speaking from somebody who served on the as assistant director of the Molina Project, the Molina Center in Colorado, and basically it was a uh, home for unwed pregnant mothers and their loved ones. Uh, Whatever the condition of the family, and it was entrepreneurial based, where we take the family into the Molina Center, and then we mentor them, care for, nurture, and educate them, and it was based on an entrepreneurial model, and because of some bad decisions that were made, and people got into positions of conflict, it ended up in litigation. The Molina Center is still there, but it's being negotiated because some wrong moves were made, and the uh, the result that should have happened did. When you start out wrong, you end up wronger. so so this is a case where I don't look at upon as a failure. I look at upon as a learning experience. And the thing, Dr. Kendall, he was a sociologist. He was a program director, and basically, we embraced Buckminster Fuller's principle of, if you want to change something, you build a better model that makes the old model obsolete. And when we're dealing with families and children in this thing, it's like we have all these constitutional rights, and as long as we can afford to protect them, we will. But as soon as the economic structure fails and doesn't provide the jobs and the income and the structure, then it becomes a matter of expediency, and individual rights go out the window out of a necessity, because there's not sufficient economic structure to provide the assistance they need, the families need, to stay in place. So they're arbitrary, they're unconstitutional, and they're inhuman. But somebody's got to make a decision, and they only have so much money, and it turns out into the horrific mess that it is. So our answer to that was to build, and you have to realize that our country is based on dependency. We don't insist that people develop the skills to be self-sufficient no matter what the condition is. That means they don't know how to grow their own food. They don't know how to build their own houses. They don't know how to read books and educate themselves in a library. They don't know how to fend for themselves when the government institutions break down. Now, having grown up in Alaska, you know, if you wanted to go fishing, you didn't go down to Sears and buy a boat. You built a boat. And if you didn't, and you grew your food, and you, and this is the thing, when they busted up all these small communities and industrial agriculture took over all the land and pushed people into cities and made them dependent on dollar bills, they really destroyed the guts of the country.
Yes.
Because a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And the minute people don't have a credit card and a dollar bill, and a bank account and a job, oh my God, the sky is falling. Now, nothing's changed, Lara. We still have the sun, we still have the air, we still have the water, and we still have the earth. But nobody knows how to be self-sufficient and independent. All right, let me put it this way. The vast majority of people don't. So
they haven't been taught any of that. And so, I mean, how do you expect them to learn anything if they
this is what the Molina Center was structured to do. There was a licensed architect, a general contractor, a mechanical contractor, a doctorate in sociology, a computer scientist, people that have graduated from musical institutes that have degrees in musical therapy. There was the structure was all there to be completely off grid and develop these people so that they could become self-sufficient. And so now the greater mission was, once we established a model and got some credibility and got people up on their feet where they were able to take care of themselves and educate others to do the same. Once we had 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 of these centers, and we could work as a support system for the courts, where when they were at that juncture where they took the children out of the home and split the family up, that we can say, well, we'll take the families and say there was a case of incarceration, and we'll take the responsibility of a house arrest for the parent that was taken to jail. Now, that this gets to be a little sticky because it depends on the situation. There are such things as mental disease where somebody's seriously psychotic or sociopathic and dangerous to themselves and the children and the family. Well, we're not talking about the extreme, but we are talking about those people that fundamentally have not demonstrated violence against themselves or others or their family members, and are and maybe they were stressed by and give took the position of neglect. Maybe they lost their job, maybe their income, and the depression set in, and then the behavior demonstrated itself. Whatever the circumstance, the idea if we can take this family as a whole and then mentor them, and that means there could be substance abuse involved, there could be behavioral abuse involved, to set up these programs, these therapy programs, and then also in conjunction with that, have a program for computer sciences and physics and mathematics, biology and chemistry, in conjunction with the life sciences of growing food in the garden, but learning the science of agriculture, particularly permaculture, and how to grow food without harmful chemicals, and basically building sustainable families, sustainable communities, and where they can function independently and free from from the world as it is or has been structured out here.
Right. Yes.
Now the proof is in the pudding. You've got to get this data out there that says, okay, here's a program that is working. Okay, that gives you the street creds to go to the courts, to go to the district attorneys, to go to the social workers, to go to child services, and say, hey, listen, we have another place for another family.
It's a new model. It's that sanctuary idea that we've been talking about.
Exactly. So we have to build this first model, and then let it algorithmically and fractally and coexist with the random chaos in the universe. That no matter what happens, we're okay.
Yeah.
If we got the sun and we got the air, we got the earth, we're fine.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, that sounds great, Dale. We have some other callers that have joined this meeting tonight, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to tonight's discussion. Dale Blome is one of the sponsors for the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families. He has a very amazing background, and he has just been talking about the Millennial Project, which he was participating and working on. And we're talking about being able to create a better way of living and bringing families back and bringing family values back into society. One person, one town, one community at a time, however we can, and also helping parents who are in conflict or have lost their parental rights based on false allegations or any allegations to the state or adoptive agencies that everybody is currently experiencing. And we want to be able to talk about solutions, bringing solutions to the table, because we want to take what is out there, which is the incentivized adoptions and Title IV funding and how it's structured, and how Social Security funds are being siphoned through to adoption agencies, to social workers, to judges, and to the adoptees, I guess you would call them. So anyway, that's my spiel, and I will open the floor up. Daya Baron, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Daya Baron. Thank you for doing this. No, this is my first one, and I'm just listening in. I couldn't agree more. I think you mentioned how the states and the judges and they're siphoning Social Security through false domestic violence, getting rid of children, the parents. This is basically they're using the legal system as the economic engine, and they're turning people's kids into ATMs. And there is no more corrupt place than here in California, and especially Santa Clara County, where this is very rampant. And I don't know what the solution is. I think all these parents are fighting, but I don't see us getting anywhere. So I don't know if you heard me.
We heard you loud and clear,
Okay.
David Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking and speaking out. We need to be communicating and working together, men and women, not having arguments, not being angry. Anger is not going to get us anywhere. We're here to talk about, our children, for the future of our children and our children's children, and for the love of our children. And, we may have a conflict with a man or a woman, in your case, the ex-partner, but as long as we hold on to that anger and that hatred, we're not going to be able to function properly. We're not going to be able to live our lives fully, and we're not going to be able to do what we're here to do as parents, protecting our children. I can't protect my children personally right now, but I can speak out about what happened to me, and I can talk to others about what's wrong and what we can do to fix it, to change it, to repeal and replace, like the term has been so well coined everywhere in politics today. And so thank you so much. All right, Maria, I believe you're next to introduce yourself. Please tell us about you.
Oh, hello. Hi, I'm in Florida, and not to be competitive by all, but with what Dia Barron was saying, but Florida is known for being one of the worst for as far as DCF services go, and I don't know how we live in a country that's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and such ridiculous false accusations can be made by somebody who doesn't even know you, and it walks, and your children are just taken from you, and you have to fight sometimes for years against something completely unfounded. And I don't understand it, but I'm here to try to be a voice and standing up against the lies.
Thank you, Maria. And, I do have to say that, a lot of states are having a lot of problems with the lack of justice that we are all experiencing all across the country. And I don't think that we can single out any one state or any one district as being the worst, because it's coming to a point, it's just like back when the country was not the United States of America, and it was in colonial times, and when the Europeans and Spaniards and Britons and all the white people came to this country, they started separating children from parents. And you can go back even further in history. This has been going on for ages, where the people who have the power and have the control are going to take and destroy families, destroys whole cultures by taking and tearing apart families. So this is nothing new. It's just become even more alarmingly severe, because now everybody is just basically, like Deb Barron was saying, an ATM. All our children are ATM cards. There's money right there. Take my child, sell that child, you're going to make money. Well, but that's not your right. That's my child. My fundamental right is to care for my child, and you don't have any right to interfere with that. And that's what we're here to speak out and to ensure becomes ingrained in society because it's disappeared from society. It's been brainwashed out of society. Anyway, call-in user number 1, would you like to say something, introduce yourself, please?
Hello. Hi, I'm Jennifer. Thanks. I'm dealing with a situation in Lane County, Oregon, and it's very similar to what you've spoken about. It's abuse of power. It's authority figures who don't like people using their power. So thank you for organizing this.
And I'm sorry, what was your name again?
I'm Jennifer.
Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us tonight. And I'm so glad that you were able to call in. I know that this is not always a workable situation, but I'm glad that you all have joined tonight. And so, yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
And we have one more participant here. Ted, would you like to introduce yourself and say a couple words?
Sure, yeah. I'm Ted Fogg. I could click my camera on, but I just finished up Wheel of Judiciary, and I try to help everybody who wants to be vocal. So Laura's doing the Zoom thing. I use Zoom for the show. So I want to support her in her efforts as much as possible. And, anything I hear, I'll try to give you my 2 cents about. It's insane. And Dave was saying, you can go state by state in every country. If any of you know Michael Gill, he will say that New Hampshire is, now I smoke sometimes. I smoke after the show. Yeah, he will say that if you know Mike Gill, he does a lot of advocacy, and he's been laying low right now because he doesn't just go after family court members, but he goes after politicians who are corrupt. And there's a lot in New Hampshire, according to him. But so he gets attacked a lot, and he gets people that get bought off a lot. It's a really interesting character. But overall, even I got him to understand that the incentives of the state, your children are worth $100,000 a year in foster care, not to your extended family. Your Title 4D money is used to support every court, every single lower family court. That's how it exists, is the incentives, the $1.66 they get out of our Social Security money to every dollar that you pay. And now we're getting shared parenting bills. We found that one in Missouri. It's been a year, almost a year, just over a year. And the courts found a way around that. What the bill says is that as long as the parents are fit parents, that they'll get equal custody. Well, what the court has done, since they're getting less money from 4D, is they take it upon themselves to dig into the background of both parents and declare that both parents are unfit and create 100% pure profit foster child.
Yeah, this is just absurd. My goodness. I know you've had a really long day, Ted. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I really appreciate that.
I'll keep listening, and please, I'm not saying don't back shared parenting bills. Do it, because
yes.
The new one, HB 4113 in Illinois right now, support it, back it, promote it, because for maybe 6 months, maybe a year, it will do great things until they find their way around it, just like Missouri. But that also will show the continued usurpations of the family court system and CPS. So, Oh, why are politicians silent, Ted? Did you say Mike Gill? Yeah. Yep. Well, Mike Gill goes after New Hampshire politicians specifically because of the rampant heroin epidemic here. I'm just over the border in Vermont. I grew up in New Hampshire. But yeah, I'll listen in. If there's anything I can answer at all, I'll try my best to do so. I usually after that show, just after an hour, I want to take a nap. So
I understand.
here, happy to meet you guys.
My question was, why are the politicians silent on this?
Oh, okay. Because they don't know. They don't really care. And here's the thing, is legislators, if you understand, especially family courts, most of those lawyers aren't voted on. They're appointed by governors and other legislators. And so what legislators want to see is revenue continuing to grow. If you see revenue drop, something's wrong. That's all they look at. They don't fucking care what's happening. So if you've got a judge in there doing the right thing, saying, yeah, equal 50-50, 50-50, 50-50, keeping kids with their families, keeping kids with the mother and father, if it's CPS, they're going to see that all they see is revenue dropping. And where is that revenue dropping? The judge. They get rid of that judge and put a judge in that they know will do what they want them to do, period. There was just a case in Maine. This guy, Ed, he's from Georgia. He contacted me. His case was open close. No reason to take his kids. This was a juvenile case. I told him, look, you're not going to get any justice in the lower court. Get ready to appeal. Have your appeal ready. You know, he's a nice guy, but he didn't quite heed that warning. And so what they did was they took a judge was transferred from Franklin, Maine, or more in the southern part of Maine, to where he was. Transferred a judge. The governor transferred this judge to his case. The judge just said, say goodbye to your kids. And then the judge was retransferred back down.
So there's no judicial accountability, and we were talking about this earlier, judicial accountability and having audits, and you were talking about in the wheel of judicial, oh God, I can't remember the whole game we were just playing, but you know,
Well, it's they do have accountability. And the way you go about it is you need that appeal ready. It's deprivation of rights, Title 18, Section 242. And he can go, you bring that to the higher court. And in his, luckily for him, the Superior Court in Maine is right next to the Federal Appellate Court for that whole area. I have to go all the way out to fucking to mine since I'm in Vermont. But if you're in New Hampshire and parts of Massachusetts, you go to Bangor, Maine. He's got it all right there. But he's brand new to the movement. He doesn't know what he's doing. They alienated him just like they do with all of us, making him feel stupid. And you know, he said, I'm just gonna go to the White House and set myself on fire right in front of the fence. And I'm like,
well, that's not.
Ted, I had a question for Ted, and it has to do with litigation. And there's a certain percentage of people that are victims of the system and have the money to hire attorneys. And I think the lion's share of the legal work is going to be done by those people with means that can pay for a protracted lawsuit and get a judgment based on the higher court. And so now where I'm working is down in the dregs with the homeless that nobody cares about. They don't care if their kids end up in dumpsters or because there's no rationale for bringing these people into a paying system, whether it be by the state or they're just the disposable human being. And my idea is to take the helpless and the homeless and restore them to self-sufficiency. Now, this is an off-grid proposition because there's no incentive for anybody to give money to this. Okay, but as time goes on, and we can see that these families are restored and they're self-sufficient human beings that can take care of themselves and take care of others, and we show a degree of success. The metrics are the problem. You've got to have evidence and statistics to support the model. So, and we're on our infancy. We had an attempted launch in Molino, and there were some structural problems with the organization, and so it's being worked out in the courts right now. But and my question to you is, there are models for the court battle that has to take place, obviously, and so how do you see building those? And that's an intentional community on its own. People working together in the courts that have means, have a common interest, a shared intent, and that's to get our rights back as parents, constitutional rights back. So, and I think an example in another field is innocent people that are sitting on death row that are being defended by people who was an attorney in O.J. Simpson's trial that did all the blood work. He has an organization. So I'm saying we together, they're all different pieces to this puzzle. But the one of litigation and setting up a network where we really focus on the most extreme cases that have the best chances of winning to get the law changed.
Ted, I have a question for you. The deprivation of rights, what is the number of the U.S. code? Is it 18 something you said?
Yeah, Title 18, Section 242. Yeah, and anytime you start a case, you also want to file a special notice of special appearance, saying that you're going there specially, not in generally. That way you challenge their jurisdiction at the same time. You also want to decide whether you're going to go pro se or pro per. Some people say it's the same, but some judges look at pro per as being better. But Dale. So Connie is a former prosecutor, and she's doing this case by case, trying to find that perfect case that mixes CPS and the family courts together, so she can bring it to the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court only sees 80 or is it 80 or 180 cases a year. They will not even look at a family law case. They won't even touch it. But a case that includes deprivation of rights, especially now that we're getting more attention, like the Texas Supreme Court declared that the CPS in one county was intentionally violating people's constitutional rights. That was huge. So now if you have something like that, and Connie finds this case, and she's working with a few folks there, have incredible cases. And if you look at my Facebook profile and you go down a little ways to a Fox 17 news report I shared, that's now Connie's in the video. And That's a pretty good one. You know, I'll spare you the description. Just watch the video. But we're getting there, and don't be discouraged, because even little things like we're doing here, Lara having this public meeting and people coming to it, it allows us to be more vocal, be more educated. Then we talk to more people who are like, oh, I'm not an idiot. This is happening to people who are intelligent. I should start talking and learning about this. And it's building and building and building. Just a year ago, there were very, very few shows, no video shows. And now we've got this platform with Zoom. Even Facebook have videos where you can share with, other people on your videos. And there's been an uptick in people joining the Facebook community. I've been trying to promote Twitter and YouTube, but haven't seen much on YouTube yet. But my goal there is, in search results, have family law reform second to Family Guy. If you search Family Guy, you'll see family law reform right behind it. That's my. What else am I going to do? I'm a freaking contractor who's been out of work for 2 years.
Maria has risen her hand and waited patiently. We have about 5 minutes left, and because I'm still on the free account, I'm trying to get into the longer accounts, but it's been difficult. But hold on, here, Maria, your turn. Go for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I just had a quick question because you were mentioning, Ted, about possibly having a case. What would qualify to have a case to go to the Supreme Court?
It would have to be well, I mean, that's a question really for somebody like Connie. She's the professional. She's been looking, and it would take some serious stuff. I mean, serious stuff meaning beyond civil rights claims. And there's a few
human rights claims too. There's,
I mean, that boy with his, oh my God, pulled his hair out, so now he's like permanently bald in one spot. I mean, that's a pretty good case, and Connie's on that. And it really, it's kind of a catch-22, because, all right, you have your lower court where you're not going to get any justice. It's a given. You're going to get fucked because they need the revenue. So you need to be ready to go to the superior court of your state. Now, you're actually lucky if your case is solid and the superior court throws your case out. You're golden, actually, because you go to your nearest federal appellate court. If you're on the West Coast, it's on the border of California and Nevada's District 9. There's only 13 of them.
Yeah.
You go to that court.
Go there for that, don't you?
Yeah, you have to go. You have to travel. For me, it's Buffalo, even though there's one right in Bangor, just a couple hours away. I've got to go 5 hours in the other direction because that's my district, and that's your last step before the Supreme Court. And if you get to that third step, you could then technically take it to something where we need this to change. This has to change. And you take that to the Supreme Court, and there you say, we need this gone or we need this changed. And really, that's all I got for you.
Well, and that's one of the things we're here to talk about, is that we have some of the information, but we also have other people that we know that we can connect you with and help. And that's part of what the Parent Advocate Network is doing here. We're bringing those people and bringing those questions so that we can help connect the dots for everybody. And I've only got a few minutes left, and Dale looks like he wanted to say something. So Dale, go for it.
Okay, well, after everything is said, and there's much more that needs to be discussed here.
We can come back. I can
Then
open up
then
the
it comes
room.
down. Then it comes down to what are we going to do? Now, okay, and this has state versus federal and so on and so forth. But I think some kind of a thing can be organized with little guys to go down and we develop a lobbying element where we just get together as parents and families and wear them out on the state legislature.
FamilyRightsParty.com. This is something that's been organized here in the state of California. I am the secretary of the Family Rights
And let's
Party. We
let's
are
just
working there.
let's just here's a napkin sketch. Let's just say that one family or 10 families across the state pick a week to take a vacation in Sacramento. And all we do is every day go down and harass the legislatures. And this thing is a thing that we can operate 365 days a year because every family needs a vacation. So what we can call this is truly a working vacation. And what we can set up there around Sacramento, there are facilities where we don't have to pay $300 a night for hotels. We can figure out a way to do this and create a community in the Sacramento area where we're welcome every week. It's like we have a place and we have a new group of people come in and they're all getting together, and so it's every day we have a picnic, and it's in the chambers of government in Sacramento. And
we could do that all across the country. And there was the Million Parent March that Ted was airing.
Yeah. And perseverance is being relentless. Mm-hmm. Just being absolutely relentless of following to these legislators to their homes, harassing them in a very nice, respectful way.
Freedom of speech.
Just like my sister in Code Pink, she got arrested on Howard Rumsfeld's property and Cheney's property. They didn't do anything but say, "What about this war, Mr. Cheney? What about this war, Mr. Rumsfeld?" And she had to go to court and all that stuff, and she just refuses to stay on the mat. She keeps going back and going back and going back and going back, and that's what you have to do. It has to be an ongoing barrage, and then build the army so where it's sizable. That every weekend when people aren't working, we go down and have mass actions where large groups of families and people demand a change in the state law, and then use that as a stepping stone to get traction in the federal courts. And I think this is a thing we can do in every state.
Yeah.
Yes.
The problem is
we have 1 minute.
The incentives aren't something that gets signed every time. It's automatic. It goes to the states. That's where the states say, "Oh, it's not us, it's the feds," and the feds say, "Oh, it's not us, it's the states." Right. But it's the incentives.
Well, here's a subtle little piece of. I was involved in a protracted lawsuit that went on for 3 years in my own family, and here's a subtle little thing that they've done, and it's